Hello, beautiful beings of shadow and light. Welcome to the energy report for July 2022. Okay, so in the year ahead tarot Akashic reading that I did in January, the card for July was the Eight of Pentacles. But also, I want to just pause and acknowledge that, like today, it's July 1st, we've officially shifted into the third quarter of the year, which is kind of mind boggling to me to think about. We're halfway through the year. We're in the third quarter. The first two quarters disappeared. I don't know where they went. That feels like it was so fast. And yet, of course, some moments felt so long. But the card for the quarter, so just, to create the energetic overview of the energy that we are shifting into now that we're in the second half of the year for the next 3 months, was the Strength card. And that is a major arcana card, which means that it's a big deal. Okay. It's a big deal. It's not just a minor transient state of being. It's like we are being called upon to access our deepest realms, inner realms of strength. The strength comes from the inside. It comes from the decision to prioritize our personal centeredness above all else. So, meaning that, like, I got this image a while ago of the vast difference between being so centered in yourself that the chaos in the world outside of you, be it in your personal life or your like more expanded but in real life community life or in the greater collective at large, all of that swirling chaos in the external world, when you are so being centered in yourself, you become an anchor point to stabilize that chaos. That chaos starts to kind of like chill out and find its kind of rightful place in the spinning vortex of the external energy, if you will. So it's kind of like I see I see that compared to the way that we often interface with the world, which is in constant reaction to that swirling external chaos. And like we're not in our centeredness. We're like trying to keep this thing afloat and that thing afloat and this plate spinning and that plate spinning and trying to keep this person happy and trying to get that person's needs met. And and that isn't just if you're a mother, of course. That's like, it's funny. I don't know what mommy's recording a video. It's like if you're anyone, it's like trying to react to navigate the landmine of our personal relationships in the outside world, whether it's people that we know or it's just like acquaintances that we deal with in like the grocery line or traffic. It's trying to interface with all of that from a place of always being in reaction and like trying to keep up. And it's like playing whack-a-mole. They pop up and you try to whack them and it's gone and another one has popped up over here. Whereas when you are deeply centered in your own self, when you cultivate that through whatever, you know, set of strategies really works for you, for example, meditation, breath work, being outside in nature, going for walks, running, swimming, eating well, like whatever things, drawing, playing music, the things that bring you into your own centeredness, from that place, you you become like a still point. You become like the Polaris star, like one of the stars that doesn't move. You know what I mean? It's like you become an anchor point, like the navel of all of that swirling chaos. And it starts to regulate itself into a form of order around you because you are the anchor. Without you, when you're trying to chase all of those things outside of you and like keep on top of them as best as you can, you are maximizing the chaos. You are contributing to that swirling, exhausting chaos. When you are in your centeredness, you become the anchor point, and that chaos can kind of like slow down and find its rightful rhythm and order and flow. So that's one of the messages coming through around the strength card. But the other message is like, I mean, I am not. I just, I have no bandwidth for the politics or the external narratives at all whatsoever. I just like give two shits, honestly. And yet, of course, we all know that some button topic came up last week, and very much rage is being felt, and very many clashing opinions are being engaged upon. And, you know, we've had so many of these events, and this will not be the last one. Far from it. I predict that we're going to be seeing like even more like back to back to back kind of collective issues that come up, arise in the public sphere that really trigger us deeply, deeply. And the the trick is to navigate them from our internal place of power so that we can see these things and come back to ourselves and say like, am I in this exact moment right now? Am I threatened right now? Not in an imaginary realm of what if this were to happen, or future tripping on like, yeah, but someday if I want to access these services and I no longer can, then I will be threatened. I mean, we need to come back to right now. Am I personally being affected by this? And your answer may be yes. And if that is true for you, mom life. If that is true for you, then that is something for you to deal with. I, I'm certainly not trying to say ultra professional. I'm certainly not trying to suggest that this will affect no one and that we should just kind of rise above it into the rainbows and the unicorns and here you go, baby heart, and pretend like nothing is happening. I know it can sound that way, but that's not my intention at all. What I'm saying is that it's very easy as these things come up to get deeply triggered and to react to our imaginary scenario that we are imaginarily concocting about such time that we're going to need these services, or somebody we know and love is going to need these services and can't access them because, patriarchy and rah, 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 and rage, rage, rage. And I'm also not saying that there's no place for the rage. I'm just saying that this all goes into the card for July so beautifully that, like, can we please bring ourselves into a place of mastery, knowing that the people that I speak to, we are not just humans. We incarnated into human bodies, but we are from elsewhere. We are galactics, we are angelics, we are dragons, we are wizards, warlocks, mages, sages, priestesses, priests, you know, it becomes so impossible to list out all the archetypes, but you understand what I'm saying, I think, is that we are the game makers, we are the creators, we are the benevolent force that came to incarnate into this simulation, into this game, to change the game from the inside out. And we can't do that when we're not in a state of mastery. We ourselves are being like heavily triggered and we're in a state of constantly being reactionary to the things that come up in the public domain, as well as in our own personal lives. This, this medicine applies to our personal lives as well. But what I'm seeing is the importance, like how immensely valuable we are as we witness the chaos swirling around us, and we are in a state of mastery over our own energy and where we allow our attention to go. If we see our attention as like the most valuable currency, worth more than any fiat currency, any alternate currency, any cryptocurrency. You know, our attention is the gold. It is the gold. Okay. So if we are going to be impeccable stewards of our own wealth, then we need to be very aware of where we're directing our attention. Because what we, Where attention goes, energy flows. That's the adage, right? Whatever we lend our attention to, we imbue it with life force energy and it becomes bigger, realer, more powerful. We are the battery. We are the source of energy that renders this whole reality. We are the source of energy that animates timelines, that brings things into real time fruition. So, in the case of, you know, Supreme Court decisions, if we are putting our energy on that Supreme Court decision, just as one example, one of many, that there have been so many, and there will continue again to be so many more examples, from a place of disempowerment, sweet girl, let me need you to be a little bit more quiet, okay? From a place of disempowerment, and a place of just like blind rage and like we're like keyboard warrioring with people and things like that, sharing memes, trying to one up each other, trying to make somebody else wrong for their perception. We are feeding the chaos. And to what end? We have to ask ourselves that. Whereas when we can be in mastery of our own energy, we can exist within this chaos and yet like allow ourselves to not be touched by it. And if we are touched by it, to know that we are freaking strong enough to handle it. Like we can handle whatever life brings to our doorstep. We can do that. Just a minute. Okay. We're going to try this again. So if we are the calm center and the masters of our own energy, we're in a place of internal, like deep strength where we are not affected by things that are not actually affecting us. And we are trusting ourselves to handle what is actually at our doorstep. We become a calming force. Another way to put this is like holding the frequency. It's holding the highest frequency, holding the highest timeline, letting others who are not at this level of consciousness rage around us, letting the chaos rage around us, but within our own field, being so anchored in our strength, so centered in our sovereignty that we hold the frequency of peace, of resolution, of love, of compassion, of grace, of forgiveness, of transmutation, of alchemy. We hold those things in our field and we thus affect the collective field powerfully. So it's up to you. It's up to you. Are you going to be in your strength? Okay. Part of me would love to just restart this video, but then I'm like, who are you kidding? Everyone knows that you have kids. Just deal with it. Okay. So being centered in our strength. Enough said. The card for July, okay, that's the guidance for the whole third quarter, July, August, September. We need to hold the frequency. We need to be centered in our strength because we're so powerful. We are so influential from that space. Do we want to be contributors to the chaos and the madness, or do we want to be influential in like the power and potency of our frequency, our highest frequency? Okay. But the card for July is the Eight of Pentacles, which is about mastery over the physical realm. So traditionally, this is a minor arcana card. Okay. It's not a major arcana card, meaning that this is a smaller theme in our lives. This is a smaller, more transient theme. But coupled with the strength card, it's very powerful medicine. The Pentacles is the realm of the physical. And traditionally, the Eight of Pentacles is talking about mastery over our craft. But the guidance that I'm getting when I tune into the combination of these two cards is mastery over being in a physical incarnation, mastery over the physical domain. It can be said, and I know I said in the year ahead reading that it's like master manifestors. But as I was listening back to that, I was like, that has the potential to be a little bit misleading because yes, manifestation, all the manifestation. And it's happening so fast right now. If you are in alignment with the greater purpose of your being here, your manifestations are going to be like boom, 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 just coming through so fast. If you're out of alignment, you'll probably be feeling very blocked. But it is manifestation, but it's more like mastery over being in a physical realm, in this physical realm, while having a 5D level consciousness and above. So it's really straddling both the realms. It's like I can be in my human world. I can tend to my human needs. I can tend to my human relationships. I can, whatever, budget, like do bookkeeping, financial tracking. I can get the groceries. I can make the food for my family. I can multitask, record an energy report and unscrew the lid for sparkle crayons for my daughter. Like we can do these things. We can be masters of the physical realm. But what it means to me so much is like being able to be in the physical realm from the 5D perspective, which is being that like aware that you are a self-sovereign creator being. So manifestation feels like a word. It feels like the baby version of like creation, being a creator. I don't mean coloring with crayons, although that is dope and you should do that if you're called to it. I mean, like removing the energy of this realm to sculpt and mold entire new timelines. Okay. I mean, birthing new timelines. I mean, like creating powerfully. And that means not in response to the things that are going on in the world outside of us, but creating from like in response to what we feel and experience within our own field, be it our physical body or our extended field in our chakras, whatever, however you experience yourself. But it's like tapping inward and drawing on like genuine pure desire, genuine pure excitement, genuine pure like inspiration and creating from there. It also means being aware of ourselves as game makers, meaning that we were part of the crew that assembled this whole realm, this whole simulation. And one of those phantom sneezes. We assembled this whole creation. This may not resonate with everyone, but it resonates with me, and I'm sure it resonates with a lot of people who are in my field. Is this knowing that, like, oh God, I was part of the collective of beings, higher dimensional beings that created this realm and put this whole thing in place. And I don't mean that I am God. I don't mean that at all. I mean that when we get up to a certain level of consciousness and we have mastered the physical incarnation, we have mastered the incarnation experience as a soul, as a consciousness, we get up to a level where the next, thrilling thing to do towards the expansion of all, of source is to create realms and then to create galaxies and universes, to create beings. We become creators. And in that sense, we can be understood as gods, but we aren't God. We're creator beings. And so the message coming through to me is also about remembering ourselves as game makers, that we created this game, that we created, or realm creators, that we created this, and that we created it so that we could incarnate here, so that we could have the thrill of creation, first of all. And then we created humans so that they would be suitable vessels for us to incarnate into and experience ourselves under, myriad multitude of simulations and circumstances, right? And that somewhere along the way, this simulation kind of went strange. And, it can feel like we're really stuck here. But what the direction we're ultimately moving is to remember our mastery and apply it while we're here. And as we do that, we open up the door for the expansion and the exit from this realm. Now, this opens up a lot of questions, of course. Like even the words that I'm using, I feel like they can seem kind of nebulous and abstract, like the exit from this realm. What do you mean, Amy? Are we going to a new place? But what I'm really talking about is being able to be in the human experience and be tapped into that 5D level consciousness and beyond, and be able to take care of your 3D business, be able to like hold your shit down and keep it together. And one of the important things that I'm realizing about that is the the necessity of really, really healing our base chakra and then sending a grounding cord, where I like to visualize it as a taproot, much like a plant, a very hardy, resilient plant sends a taproot, a main taproot deep down into the earth. And like allowing ourselves to like develop our channel up into the higher realms, but also develop our channel down into the lower realms. And it's like the more we do that, the more grounded we are, the higher we can go, because they harmonize and balance each other out. And so, for a lot of us, for a long time, there's been kind of this flavor of not really wanting to be here, like finding human life very painful, very confusing, very challenging, being so ultra triggered by, the way that society is set up, the way people treat each other. It's trauma piled on top of trauma piled on top of trauma. And it's understandable that so many of us who are so deeply sensitive have felt like, I need to get out of here. And like this, I don't want to be here. I don't want to be on the earth. I don't want to be here. But you came here for a reason, my friend. And that reason is to be a bridge between this realm and the higher dimensional realms. That we don't need to leave this place, but what we need to do is liberate it. We need to allow others to allow ourselves, and in so doing, allow others to root down deeper into this realm and open up into higher and higher levels of consciousness. Like the deeper down you go, the higher up you can go. And it's not about escaping, it's about balancing and knowing that your heart space is the literal bridge between heaven and earth. You can't act as that bridge if you refuse to be on earth, like a bridge that wants to be only on the left side and won't refuses to touch the right side. Well, that's not really a bridge. It's an incomplete bridge. Nobody from the right side can get onto the bridge to travel to the left side. We have to be in both. And so to me, the month of July is about really mastering the physical embodied realm. And so it may feel very triggering. I kind of get this like oof energy about July. It feels a little bit abrasive to me. Not catastrophic, but abrasive. Like there might be some triggers. Oh, there might be some emotions that come up. There, let me see, let me feel into it. Some irritations will come to the surface as we realize like what in our lives is not optimized and is ready to be optimized. And it feels like tempers are kind of close to the surface. It just feels like a lot of agitation. There's a lot of agitation in the month of July. It almost feels like sunburn. It's like you're having fun. Life is good. As I said, it's not catastrophic. Like life is good. We're having a good time. We're having fun. But there's these sunburns or mosquito bites or something that, something uncomfortable that kind of comes with the territory of the season. And it's a little bit, it's like we are we're getting ready to go and move forward in a very intentional way. But in the process of getting ready to go, we are like a race car kind of revving at the track. And it's like you need to do some test runs. A lot of things need to get cleared out. You need to make sure that the vehicle is serviced and is optimized for this journey that it's about to go on. So that's ultimately what July feels like. Like we're really being called to master ourselves, which means that probably some triggers are going to come up, probably some uncomfortable things, some things that require us to hold the frequency and to, you know, rather than following old patterns of kind of trying to like lift up into higher realms so that we don't really have to like be present here, it's like rooting down even deeper. But also, I should say, as you root down deeper into the earth, you're also passing through and away from the bandwidth that is like the fourth dimensional human chaos. Like that's usually what we're uncomfortable with. We're not really uncomfortable about being on Earth, sunburns and mosquito bites aside. What causes many of us great discomfort is being surrounded by low frequency humans, right? Lots of low frequency consciousness. And as we root down deeply into the earth, we like down there, the vibration is low and slow and very consistent and nurturing. It's like it holds you. And that's the frequency that we're wanting to tap into to help us master being on earth. Because what I feel is that, man, like, I don't know if it kind of starts in September, but like all this revving that we're doing, getting ready to go, like it feels like it could be September. Like, boom, we're going. Like it's fast. Like a lot of people really clarify, like, this is what I'm here to do. And I'm doing it. It's on. I'm doing it. So this is necessary preparatory work. It can feel very uncomfortable, but just know that, you got this. And it's not, again, it's not catastrophic. It's like low level irritations, but they need to be dealt with. They're coming to the surface so that you can pay attention to it and decide what you're going to do. Support yourself by drinking a lot of water, moving your body, meditating, engaging in, aforementioned creative practices that get you into your centered strength. So, music, art, writing, just really support yourself and then flush your body out as well. Like drinking water, just doing salt water flushes, doing enemas, doing infrared saunas, things like that are going to like help move density through your body because that's really what's coming up in this realm of mastering our physical reality. Okay. This went on so much longer than I wanted to. Thank you for receiving my messages by adorable children making noise in the background. I really appreciate you. And we've got this. We're going to do July. It's going to be beautiful, but a little bit irritating too. We're here for it. We've got it. We are masters. That's the thing to remember. That's what I'm really, really internalizing and anchoring into myself is like I am a master of consciousness. Again, I'm not saying Amy, the person that is Amy is very flawed. It's very human. It's like, Amy is human as fuck. Okay. The soul that animates Amy is a master consciousness. It is. And that's the whole reason that I came is to bring that mastery forward and it doesn't have to erase Amy, the human. There's a way for them to coexist and support each other and harmonize. And that's what I'm talking about in this reading for the month of July in the energy report is like coming into the mastery of having a flawed AF human self that will never attain perfection. I will never attain perfection. It's a fool's errand. I'm not even going to bother. I have this human self that I can exalt and I can love in all of her messiness and imperfection, all of her flaws. And then I can acknowledge that my soul is a drip down of a master level consciousness that has chosen to enter into the game by merging with a physical vessel, and that those are both me, and that there's a way for them to come together and harmonize for me to be the most effective in this incarnation possible. Okay, I'm really going to let you go now. I hope you all have a very, very transformational and masterful July, and I will see you at the beginning of August. Bye.